Welcome to the Freud's Angels weekly reading, bringing the collective guidance and understanding for this week's energy.
Remember, never give your power up to a reader or a reading. You always have the power of autonomy. Hey, angels. Welcome to your weekly reading. We are reading from April 5th through the 11th. Happy April. Happy birthday to my brother. Today is his birthday. I lived in a house full of Aries or other fire signs. So
I would not have survived your home.
it's like, I don't know how I did. Well, I have an Aries moon, so I guess apparently I'm part of that problem. So,
or there was enough of you that you could not hate the energy.
right. Exactly. A little bit of tolerance.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Scorpio. There's enough Scorpio in my chart that I'm cool with Scorpios, because otherwise I don't think I would be. They're very intense.
I struggle, but I love a Taurus, which is where a lot of my planets is in Taurus. For some reason, my Venus, my Mars, like they're all in Taurus. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm an air sign, fire moon. Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, again, like when I learned that about myself, where I was like, oh God, that makes sense, because I have a ton of Scorpios in my life. Like when I looked back, I was like, oh, okay, like my childhood best friend, the first person I met when I moved to New Hampshire, who's still very close to me. Okay, great. One of my favorite people on my hockey team forever. Like the one that I was like, if I was going to be a lesbian, I would marry her. Scorpio. Right? Like my aunt, who like I'm the most like, Scorpio. My daughter, like, yeah, I'm just like, man, there's a ton of them in my life that I just never realized. Scorpios and Geminis. I have a ton of Gemini friends. When I think about Taurus, I'm like, my brother, I don't think I know many other ones. Right? Like, like it's funny how when you go through that, you just think like, and then the people that maybe are a little bit different, I'm like, I wonder what else is going on in their chart that makes us so compatible.
I know. Yeah, I have a ton of Gemini and not a ton of Gemini, but quite a few. And I have a ton of Sagittarius friends, a ton. Like, I swear to God, every new person I meet is a Sagittarius. I'm like, or a Virgo. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. See, me barely know any. Like,
yeah, I just, I don't even know. But it's interesting how different energies come together and how I either love or hate a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
So it's because it's my sister sign. And so you either love them or you hate them, and they give you all the lessons. And no, thank you for the lessons.
Yeah. I do enough of that on my own. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, what are the mermaids?
Anyway, yeah, like there's a little information you guys didn't need to know. So yeah, okay. So here we go. The mermaids. I've been talking to the mermaids a lot this week. I've decided I've had to go back, or not had to go back, but when you go through a lot of changes in life, I feel like sometimes you remember some of the things that really are helpful to you. And to me, like standing in front of my altar, lighting a candle, doing some, cleansing of some sort, and pulling a card used to be like a really great way to start the day. Couldn't tell you the last time I did it. So mermaids and I have been talking because I've been pulling my mermaids every day. This card has come out before. It's coming out again. It's the future card. Yeah, it's again, like this time, however, like in every time, right? Like that's why I love an oracle card. This time it feels like the lesson is about the tunnel vision of the future. And I know we talked about this in the last podcast that we put out, and I know that sometimes we talk about this when this card comes out. And other times, sometimes we're talking about the periphery, and sometimes we're talking about the path, and our focus on either one being important. Right now, I'm looking at it, and it actually looks like she's telling us to look at the path, which is very interesting, because I think usually when I get this card, it's because she's got the bubble so close to her face, it feels like, ooh, like you're not seeing the periphery. But I feel like this is maybe this aligns with what we've been talking about, or what we talked about in the pregame, of like everything is kind of coming together, right? Like
Yeah.
all this messiness, all the stuff that happened in the last, few months with eclipses and retrogrades and planets being all wacky, right? Like it has to come together sometimes, right? Like everything can't just always be all over the place. It has to come together. And so I feel like that's what this card is out here saying. It's like, okay, gather all your stuff. Put it all here in front of you and look at what you've got. And it doesn't necessarily mean stare at the path only, but look at what you got instead of collecting and collecting and collecting and collecting, because you'll just do that forever. And as I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, okay, me and my consuming content have been a little out of control lately. And it's like, are you consuming the content or are you using the content? And okay, heard, right? Because those of us who are seekers, who like to seek, are we implementing it? Are we actually influencing our future? Or are we just creating more of the future being seekers? And
Or are we seeking to avoid the future or the past?
right, yeah, like our relationship with seeking is a good thing to think about, because I know I just get lost in it, and I love learning, and I'm fascinated and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, time can go by and then I realize I haven't done anything except for learn, which isn't terrible, but at the same time, when I want to craft my life, I'm like, oh yeah, you got to like do that part too. You gotta like do some implementations, you got to mess around with it, do your own life research. So yeah, that's what it feels like she came out to be like, okay, what's in your bubble though? Like what is actually there? Take a look at it. Really, now that you've gathered all this, now that you've gone through all of this, like take a look and do some discernment. The future is yours to create. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And, with that, with talking about the future, I think the rest of the cards really play into, some things to think about when you're thinking about the future. Oh, my kitty gave me a whisker. Sorry. I collect her whiskers. Um,
Aw.
anyways, sorry. So right now we're being asked to surrender to silence. And it's surrender to silence is about quiet meditation, contemplation, kind of entering the stillness, to allow the silence to heal and replenish you. But I also think silence allows us to access the deeper parts of us, our heart, our soul, what is inside, what is internal, right? Because we're always focused outside of us. That's how humans live. And so when we think about the future, the ways we know how to decide what we want in the future or how the path to get there is by becoming still, right? Becoming internal and allowing the intuitive, the understanding to come through us, not outside of us. And and the numerology card this week is 11, and it goes with this because who's 11?
Mark Messier.
Okay.
Carry on.
We're all going to know what number every sports hockey player is, like, by the end of this, but it's okay. I love it.
Also Casey Middlestat, who scored in the Bruins game last night, but anyway.
Yay, celebrate.
Sorry, oh my God.
Yeah. And so the 11 card is about individuality. And this is about really digging deep and finding that authentic part of you. And you're always authentic, even if you're wearing a mask, even if you're kind of operating from a different understanding, you're always being authentic because you're authentic in that role, in that part of you. I don't know that authentic is an accurate word. I think it's more celebrating the uniqueness and the drive that comes from within, not from outside of you, right? Not from social constructs, not from this idea of what you think it should be based on what Instagram or somebody has told you it should be. It's really digging deep to find that understanding and that deep knowledge that lives inside of all of us. and to really give yourself permission to access it and act upon it, to go be weird, go be extravagant, go do the things that your soul is crying to do, but you're stuffed inside the gray box that of society that says what is, and I know it seems really hard right now to do that, but the more the self-expression, the self unique expression is what is how we resist. It's how we're saying, yeah, you may want to like put me into fear, you may want to make me feel helpless and etc. You may want to color this, but I am still existing in myself and I'm still celebrating myself. And that's a huge form of protest, because then we will make decisions based on that truest part of us, that part of us that is deeply rooted in our heart and what our mission here is on earth. And that is what they don't want. And so this is the time to really dig deep and find that within you of what is it? How do I want to be in the world? And I don't think it's ironic, because like you said, we've been talking about pregame, but I have had this feeling of it's come across my brain a couple of times of, I'm moving. Y'all know I'm moving. And like when I get there, like what do I want to do? Do I want to do what I'm doing now? Do I want to continue to teach? How do I want to appear? But how do I want to appear in my community? Not just online, because I think we are so focused online because that was the pandemic quarantine shift, is that we had to go online to get community. But now it's time to rebuild community in person, right? And so part of this is being in the silence. Part of this is being in the, what do I really want? All the parts of me, the parts that are tired and is like, I really don't want to do anything. And then there's the parts of me that is like, I really want to be able to help support people to not feel alone and to feel like they have community, or there are people around them that are good and humane. And like, what is that? I have to I want to satisfy all the parts that want to have expression. And how do I do that? And so I'm in this space of inquiry of, what does that look like? And not based on how I've thought or how people have taught, these online people who do a lot of courses and do all these things. How does that look from my own perspective and desire and my own magic? And so, being individual, taking the time for silence, thinking about the future and the path ahead. What is the next step? What is the next step to take to get to that? And you don't have to have it all figured out. I don't know, but I'm still taking that next step because I kind of see enough of the path that I know where I'm headed, but I don't know the full picture yet.
Yeah. Right. But it's like driving on a dark road with your high beams on, right? Like you just see the road ahead of you and you're on the road and you just keep going. And you might see something cool, up ahead when you get there, but you're not going to know it's cool until you get there. Right.
Exactly.
Like, and that's yeah, it's hard, because I think that, even when we think about the future and we think about that, we try to plan out the entire thing and stick with it. Right.
Yeah.
Like as the only way. And some of it comes from fear and wanting to, feel like we understand what's going on. But when we trust ourselves and we really believe that we're good at pivoting and we're good at flowing and we're good at understanding that, a roadblock is divine intervention sometimes, right? Like, and we're able to kind of move through those things a little bit differently. It is easier to not really have the path. I've joked so much about like, God, I'm so over trying to plan my life, because never, ever, ever does it seem like I make a plan that goes all the way through. So why am I trying to still do that? Like, what is that about me that makes me still try to do that? Now I'm kind of in a place where I'm doing almost the exact opposite, which I can't tell if that's a pendulum swing or if that's how I'm going to be now, where I'm just like, oh, I'm so overdoing that. I'm tired of being anxious about everything that I'm doing and how it's going to affect the future. Holy shit, I'm kind of done with that, and I've said it to people out loud, being like, man, I don't know. I don't know. I just know right now. And that's gonna have to be good enough for me, because I'm really tired of thinking I know 4 steps ahead. And then by the time I get to the 4th step, it's not that way. And it creates turmoil within me, right? Because I'm thinking about failure and I'm thinking about, how I misread things or whatever, you know what I mean? But all it was me setting myself up with some weird ass expectation with information I had on step 1 that 2 and 3 gave me different information. Man, because that's what's going to happen. You
Yeah.
only know what you know until you know more.
Which is why it's like we're collecting. We're on the bridge. Like we kept talked about last week. We're on that bridge. We're collecting information, and we need the information to get to make the decision in the next step. That's why, I mean, we did a podcast a long time ago about the myth of the 5-year plan. Like, you don't know who you're going to be in 6 months. How are you going to know how you're going to be in 5 years?
Did we do that 5 years ago? Oh my God. Oh my God. I have to
That
go
would
back
be
and listen to
hilarious,
that.
to be perfectly honest with you. I may have to go back and listen.
I want to listen to it. We should do a redo. I forgot all about that, Grace. Oh
Yeah.
God, I can't freaking wait.
Yeah, we were like we well, that was when we were kind of anti-structure. Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm
we did
still
it March
anti-structure.
we did it March 10th, 2021.
You're kidding. March
No.
10th and April 5th, like around this time, this freaking springtime
Yeah.
equinox energy, man. Is the whole, oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
5 freaking years ago. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. But yeah, I can't wait because it's just going to prove the whole thing that we're talking about right now. That
Oh
5 year
God,
plan
you're
is
kidding.
sounds good.
In March of 2021, I had just moved to fucking Oregon. Now I'm in North Carolina, and now I'm moving again. So like,
Yeah, what you just said out loud.
yeah, I know. It's okay. I'm not, it's okay. People can feel what they feel about me moving. I
I
shared it.
love it. No, I'm actually celebrating it. I'm just like, yes,
Yeah.
this is what it is. But yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like whatever we thought 5 years ago, I know I thought I was probably going to stay in Myrtle Beach forever, or
Yeah,
maybe not forever. I don't know. I can't wait to go back and look at it. But
I know. We'll have to
yeah,
listen, and the next time we record, we'll have to do coming back to that 5-year plan thing, because
totally.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, because I'm sure some things, right? Like some core fundamental stuff stays, right? Because it's about us and it's about
Yeah.
like our hearts and our souls and the things that fill us up, right? And that's okay, right? There's nothing wrong with things being constant through our lives, but it's the idea of forcing constants that I think is what all of these cards are telling us is, right? Like just, it's okay to have a path and to create one and to gather all your stuff and look at it and decide what you want to try to go for. But it's that real like cementing thing that really gets us in trouble.
Yeah. And it's not to say that we didn't have goals that lasted for 5 years. It's just that when we impinge our success on that goal and not allowing ourselves and giving ourselves permission to course correct.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm a different person 5 years, a very different person than I was 5 years ago. Like when I first rolled up into Oregon, I was a hot mess. I'm still a hot mess, but I'm at least less traumatized hot mess. It's like I have healed a lot and I have done a lot and we've grown a lot. I mean, things can stay constant. We're still doing the podcast 5 years later. I mean, which is amazing to me, but
Absolutely. And we're still doing it exactly how we want to.
Yeah, exactly. We're not doing it how corporate or some person online tells us how to do it. So it's funny because I had a whim to pull a tarot card while we were doing it, or as a bonus card, and the tarot card of Temperance came out. And temperance is a lot about balance. It's a lot about give and take. It's a lot about that idea of, of coming back to balance, because balance, you're never going to always be balanced, right, man? You're always pretty heavy on one side. You're going to be working a lot and not enough play. And then you're going to be playing a lot and not working quite as much. And so there's always this give and take of balance. And I think it's when we're talking about our future and we're talking about, really digging deep into the internal desire of how our future looks and feels to us, it's always going to shift because our balance will shift and the balance of things will shift. Maybe you get a new job that you don't have to work overtime to afford food, right? Maybe so then you get to play more or you get to have fun more, right? Things are going to shift and creating that balance. And so, balance is such a buzzword, right? And it's really a misnomer. People think balance means you're steady, you're even keeled. No, balance is the idea of, oh, I'm heavy on the work. And so, okay, you know what? This weekend, I need to inject some more play. I need to go do something that's truly fun to bring play into my life to find that balance. It's about understanding where we're needing more balance and bringing that to us. And that is going to shift over time. And so when we're thinking about creating a very true, authentic life that is authentic to us, that is true to us, we need to understand where the things in our lives are out of balance. I know for me, like I am doing the thing I love to do in teaching, but yet at the same time, I'm out of balance because I'm doing too much of it. So, like, you know what I mean? There's this understanding, that give and take. And I may have said, I want to teach like 2 classes a week for like whatever. And I have come to realize in this sacred body path, I don't want to teach after work on an evening because I have like lost all of my energy. Like my energy is gone. And so now I have that knowledge. If I had said that that is what I want to do in 5 years, 4 or 5 years, like I feel like I failed because I'm not doing it. But no, I'm giving myself the course correct. I'm finding the balance again. And so it's just super important.
You don't know what you know until you know what you know.
Exactly. And you don't know that you don't know until you know. And so it's just stay in the moment, man.
Yeah, right. Like just trust, right? Like just trust. I say it so, easily, but I that's what I teach. I mean, every single one of my clients has heard that speech of being like, you are going to be fine no matter where you are and no matter what you're doing if you trust yourself. When you don't trust yourself, then that's when things start to get crazy. And when we talk about trust, it's not, I trust I'm always going to do things that won't hurt me. It's, I trust that no matter what happens, I will find my center and I will act from my center. And that's the goal, right? Like we're humans, we're 3D, we're not always going to be like so super perfectly centered, but it's the idea of I can handle, right? I can handle anything that happens. I will be able to handle it. Even if I fall apart first, I will still handle it. That doesn't mean I'm not handling it if I fall apart or if I fall down. That doesn't mean that I'm not doing it, right? It's the allowing for there to be a completion part of my process is what I do to make sure that I can trust myself, right? And then when you trust yourself, you're willing to do stuff. I mean, people are always like, "Oh, you're just so brave." I'm like, no, I just really know that I have done enough things in my life that I am fine with not doing things. Like I no longer feel like a failure if I quit on something. I just fucking decide I don't want to do it. And if people think I'm a failure, that's on them. And if I fail, if I do truly do something and I fail, I am so okay with being like, well, I guess it wasn't the thing for me. Right. And to me, that's a pivot point. And that's why there's not a lot hinging on the decisions that I make in general. Certain ones, of course, I'm still working on those, but that's the reality of life. So yeah, I love that. And I hope people are hearing, all of this of, take away some of the stuff that you've been learning, from our weird ass society and really look within yourself and understand your own authenticity as it exists every day, everything that you've gathered about what it is that you desire, and like go forth with the information with an open mind and an open heart, because you're just going to gather more along the way, and it's always going to be good. It's always going to be helpful.
Yes. Yeah. And give yourself permission to grow in the process and change your mind. I think that's the biggest thing. Is that we can change our minds. We have that permission. That's why we have a mind. We can
Imagine
free will.
Imagine we have free will so that we can use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Our money card this week, I trust my ability to manifest money. Amen. And that's the same thing, like along with all of this, right? You trust yourself to manifest money when you're moving through. I mean, I tell you, this has been my journey from when moving and finding this job and all the things. This whole move right now has been a huge trust, like exercise in trust. It has been this sense of like trusting myself that I can find the money. I will manifest the money. I will do it whatever way that is. The money will show up because it's been greenlit. Like I greenlit this. I made the decision myself. And I think, and I know Vanessa was like, you said it out loud. And I was like, because I didn't want to share, because I needed to make the decision based on my own influence rather than the influence of other people, because I need this exercise in self-trust, because I'm making moves and I'm making changes and I'm making things. And this is the result of all the work I've done in the past 2 years. Why I had to come here for 2 years in order to go there where I'm going. And so it's this exercise in trust is kind of like the pinnacle moment of, yep, see, this is what you have gained. This is what you see, and this is how you trust yourself. And even if there's parts of me that sometimes are a little scared, absolutely is valid. It's valid because the past has told us something different. But it is this is the ultimate exercise in trust.
Mhm.
And yeah, grateful for it. Grateful.
Loving it.
Okay, so this is the final week of post retrograde shadow. Hurrah.
I totally forgot we were in that. And this makes
Yeah.
see again. This is why when people are like, "Oh, it doesn't matter," I'm like, I forget, and then I'm like, "Oh, that's why you feel weird." I mean, because
Yeah.
I don't have explanations otherwise. I'm like, "Your life is really great. Why are you being so weird?"
Yeah. And on the 9th, so Mars enters Aries, and it is exalted in Aries. And I feel we've been in this like kind of, racehorse moment where we're in the gates and we're waiting for the gates to open to run. And we're kind of just chomping at the bit, waiting to get through the gate kind of energy. Well, yeah, that may come to a head on the 9th, which is Thursday. Thursday. So this weekend, like this is a major tipping off point. There's so much astrology in April that I don't even know all of it to tell you. That's the thing. But I highly recommend finding a really good astrological resource. Vanessa, do you have a favorite astrology app that you use?
I use the pattern. And I love the pattern. Like it's got a lot. I mean, you don't even have to buy the like
Premium?
subscription. I mean,
Yeah.
I do have it because it like really helps me, but even the free version is amazing. And you can do your chart is there. It gives you daily updates. It gives you time periods in your life, right? Like, so they'll tell you like, hey, March 26th, 26 to, April 20th, 27, this is what's affecting you and some of the lessons that you'll deal with. I mean, it's amazing. You can do bonds with people like your
Yeah,
significant other, your daughter, your best friend. It's pretty cool.
that's super cool.
Yeah.
And I use the Chani app. And so there's like a lot of really great apps out there to get. Find a good resource. There's many out there. And just kind of take notice of how things are going to play out. August. April is a big month. It's a big month
Interesting. Can't wait
also.
for August to see why you have slipped there.
I know, like, okay, what am I doing in August, dude? So I'll be where I'm landed. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
First circle night. So anyways, one of the things just to kind of keep in mind is that I keep saying this to people because it's a reminder to self, but a reminder to people is that we are not ruled by astrology. Okay. Astrology does not rule us. It can give us the influence it has on us. Right. So I'm going to make decisions regardless, but I also know that this planet is in this space. So this is going to feel a little bit more intense, or I'm going to need to really pay attention to the fine details because this planet is somewhere. It's informing me of the influence they could have, and I get to decide what to do. I still have autonomy. You still have autonomy, even if astrology is like batshit crazy. I mean, we've all been through a Mercury retrograde where we've had to sign a legal document in a retrograde, and we can't not live life, but understand that knowing astrology, or at least knowing how it's impacting you in the current sky, gives you a tone, right? If you're planning a big launch, there's going to be some, moments where you're like, ooh, I need to know when in this month, when is the best time to plan a launch? I mean, I did that with a sacred body path. I picked a few auspicious days to like kind of decide, okay, this is the day that I need to launch, or, and moving. I mean, I'm moving in June because June 29th, we're going into a Mercury retrograde, and it's retrograding through Gemini rising's house of resources and money. And I don't want to move when I'm retrograding about my money.
Right. I mean,
So
it's like you can't let the weather affect you, but you like so if the rain is coming and you have plans, you don't change your plans, but you get a freaking umbrella because you understand that there's rain.
yeah,
That's how I equate by like
yeah,
astrology being like, man, it's like star weather within you, and you just pick your appropriate tool to manage it, because you can't let your life goes on the same way that the weather doesn't change your life either.
Yes, true story. So just remember that. But go find a good app. We have suggested ours, but go find an app that you feel good about. There's a couple of them. A lot of people talk about Astrobella. That's another one. So, really kind of understand the influence it's having. For me, it makes me feel less crazy. It makes me feel less like I'm in this shitstorm and I don't know how to get out of it. When I know it's influence planetary, I have the relief that, oh, you know what? Okay, I see what's happening. The situation is still present, but its intensity is because Mars went into freaking Aries, that kind of energy. And so it gives me that I don't need to fix it. I just need to ride this energy out to see clarity.
Yeah, or to use it, right? Like to be like, oh, what tool is being given to me today? Is it a sword on fire? Okay. It is a sword on fire. What do I do with a sword on fire? I'm not like Aries. I don't want it. Aries season, I don't love.
I know.
But yeah, like definitely. I mean, I feel like a lot of times, I mean, if you're here listening, then you're obviously of the ilk of people who are interested in this kind of stuff, and so allow yourself to explore it in all different ways. I mean, it doesn't, like anything, there's nothing that is 100%.
Yeah.
Right? Like there just isn't. But when we see things that can help us, no matter what that thing is, to me, I'm like, okay, I'll check it out, use it as a resource, fact check it even, I mean, I remember the first time I pulled my chart, I was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, oh my God. And then I looked at somebody else's that was very different, and it was like, oh, like that couldn't have been mine because none of that is me. Interesting, right? Like, and you just kind of sit with it and be like, okay, does that mean though that I could not change these things? Of course, I could do whatever I want. I do have free will, but this is my natural state. This is what my chemical makeup says. And if I don't like it, it's fine. I can obviously do something about that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yes, it's a good astrology because it's fire lighting astrology. We're in the year of the fire horse. And also in Aries season. And so there's a lot of fire, which means there's a lot of needing to move. And so this moment is about patience. It's about understanding and knowing and deciding the move you're going to make without being swept up in the tidal of the fire. So, yeah, and a way to contract that energy is water, man. If you're feeling too much, if you're feeling like you're the crazy horse at the gates waiting for it to open and you're going to like lose your shit, take a shower. Showers have been my saving grace in the past couple weeks because without them, I would be batshit crazy because of just the intensity of it. So,
and water is my change element. It just reminds me, I forgot to tell my therapist because I told her that 2 weeks ago. And then on that day, I sprayed my water from my shower all over the floor. I don't know how I literally to this day, I'm like, what was I doing that I sprayed? I have a handheld sprayer all over the floor. I knocked water all over, like I've been knocking water all over the place. I'm like, oh, okay, things are about to change. Yeah. Water is like the change element for me. I love water because of that. But when I'm spilling it everywhere, I just know that that's my sign that things are shifting. So yeah, water.
Yeah. So my friends, have a wonderful week. We are going to do good things this month. We're going to initiate good things this month. And the rest of this year is going to be deep in the investigation of what we want to do and action towards how we want to do it. Because our future, right? Future card told us that. Mm-hmm. So we love you. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening.
We hope we gave you something to support your journey.
Check out our Facebook or Instagram page to connect with us.
Have a great week.